What's up, guys? My name's Dallas, and today we're going to be interviewing John Sorey. He's the $1 Million Man. He sold $1.1 million worth of pest control. 1.2 million, my bad, from April 1st to October 1st, and he's been in the door-to-door industry for the past 6 years. He's got a lot of knowledge. He's one of the best and brightest minds in the industry, and today we're going to be interviewing him. So the first question I have for you is, let's get the basics out of the way. How old are you, and how much money did you make this past summer?
I am 23 years young, and I made a good amount of money this summer.
Okay, fair enough. I love that. And then, so let's back it up and rewind. You are 23 years old. You went to high school with my brother.
I did.
And let's talk about that. What made you want to get into door-to-door? What was kind of the path? How did all that shape up?
Yeah, I mean, in high school, I definitely wasn't like the best kid, to say the least. I, did things I wasn't supposed to. College was definitely not on the radar. I ended up having a buddy whose dad owned a DirecTV dealer through AT&T, and he was just selling DirecTV systems door to door. And a week after I graduated, that buddy recruited his friend, and then that friend told me about it, and I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
And so I just dove straight into it right after graduation. Been knocking doors since.
So you started knocking doors when you were 18 years old.
Yeah. And
when you first started doing DirecTV, what was kind of like the commission structure? What did that look like back then?
It was a set pay scale, so $200 an account, and then I could add a processing fee onto the account. So let's say, this person really wanted DirecTV, I could tell them it was another $100 to get the system processed, and then that check, I'd have them write it out to me actually, so it would just go straight to my account, or I had Square, like a little point of sale system.
Okay.
And I'd make, anywhere from $200 to $300 per account versus, what I've been doing in pest. And with DirecTV, you needed a full social security number and a credit check, so it's a lot easier doing this.
That's insane. And were you always this gifted, or did you suck like everybody else normally does, or did you kind of get a knack for it? Kind of talk about your training process, how you got to be so good.
I mean, at the end of the day, I really wouldn't consider myself like a great salesman. I've always been kind of on the introverted side all throughout school. Obviously, I think I still am a little bit now. As far as it goes, though, right off the bat, I remember my first day, I got 3 sales when everyone else got 0. I don't know what it was, but I think it's really just working harder than anybody else.
The day you got 3 sales, obviously that's a very good first day if you're in the door-to-door space. Do you think that confidence how do you think the confidence and the mental aspect of it played into it by getting 3 deals on your first day?
I mean, I definitely felt on top of the world, like I was, 3 sales, all my buddies got 0. I was like, I'm better than they are. But I wouldn't say like it was a confidence, like obviously like it helped me out, but I would say just when I tasted my first check 2 weeks into that was when I was first paid, and I remember it was $2,734, and I was just like, okay, so this is real. And then I kind of just ran with it. I wouldn't say, my first day getting 3, I mean, maybe I probably obviously played a role in only getting better, but it was just kind of like, okay, this is the job. And waking up the next day, it's like I'm back at 0. And that's kind of when that mentality kind of kicked in. I realized what this job's all about. It's like, okay, you can have a good day, but then, that doesn't mean anything because there's the next day.
No, I think that's a great answer. And then, so after DirecTV, what happened then? So how long did you do DirecTV for? When did you switch to solar? And when did we first reach out to you? Because for a lot of you guys that don't know this, me and Johnny, I tried recruiting Johnny into pest control. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago at a Red Robin, and we almost had him, and then some funny stuff went down. We'll talk about it here in a sec. Yeah. But what happened after DirecTV? You transitioned to solar. When did you do that? How was your solar career?
Yeah, so I was doing DirecTV, obviously from 18, right out of high school, through COVID hits, and AT&T shut all their dealers off, so we couldn't knock doors anymore. And I ended up recruiting a bunch of guys in Jaron, my high school friend's garage. I recruited these guys, and we all went to his garage every day, and I would actually buy dish leads, just thousands of names and phone numbers, and I would call them and try to switch them over to DirecTV. So I actually went to phone sales, just like by myself with all my friends, and we did that probably through like the first few months of COVID, and then the doors opened back up, and we were able to sell again. And once we all got back to it, in that process of COVID, everyone, even old people who have used cable for years, everyone started streaming. Netflix, Hulu. I realized it was a dying industry, and all my friends I had made doing DirecTV were opening up solar companies, or they were switching to solar to sell solar. And so my manager at the time, Kareem, he was like, hey, let's just go do solar. And I was like, why not?
No more phone sales?
No more phone sales. I was glad to be over with that. It's hard getting a full social security number over the phone within 5 minutes of talking to someone, but I ended up switching to solar.
And this was COVID, so 2020.
So this is actually, okay, yeah, so bringing up EcoShield, at mid to end 2020 is when I transitioned into solar, but before...
And how old were you?
This is when I was 19, or 20.
20.
I was about to turn 20.
So about to turn 20, solar.
Yeah, so I'm about to go into solar, but then my buddy from high school, Dylan Smith, is hitting me up.
My little brother.
And he's like, hey, I'm doing this pest control thing. I know you do DirecTV. Do you wanna talk? And I'm like, sure. And this is right before I transitioned to solar. So like my buddy Kareem, he's like, let's go to solar. I started looking at it, but then Dylan's coming in over social media. I'm, intrigued, and I end up going to an MDP in Vegas with
EcoShield. Which is our management development program.
It's a convention.
Yeah.
And I go there, and at that point, it was just you,
Jackson
Wolfswinkle, Josh Vetter.
Yep.
Dylan Smith, and then Kenzie Skelton.
And Carson
Henderson. And then I ended up should I go into reasons why I didn't?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I ended up going to the MDP, and I was like, this is cool. And I was like, I've never seen something like this, but I'm not, at the same time, I'm like, fuck that, I don't want to be a bug guy. Everyone's doing solar, everyone's making all this money doing solar. Carson, if you're watching this, which you probably will, I mean, you know the story. Dallas ends up sending me on a car ride with Carson Henderson. I forgot where we went, but we had a few hours together. And at one point in the car ride, I asked him how much he made, or how much his draws were, and he just looked over at me and he's like, he said something like, I don't disclose that information. He was like, I don't talk about the money I make. And I understand that, but like as a rookie, I wanted to know what he was making. And right when he said that, I was like, all right, I'm not doing this. I'm gonna go do solar.
So thanks, Carson.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks, Carson. Because if I started earlier, I'd be a little bit in a better position. But it all happens for a reason, right? But
so you said no to EcoShield.
Said no to EcoShield. Ended up doing solar. Did solar for 2 full years. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I made good money at the start, just because of the companies I was with. But just like any young guy, I started hopping company to company, just trying to get the best deal, the best pay scale, chasing around.
What is the most amount of money you made in solar in 1 month?
So November 2022, I made $104,000.
And so you make $104,000.
That was my first $100K.
Yep. So you make $104,000, and May of 2023 you start knocking for us. Mm-hmm. Why did you walk away?
So going into that, again, I was happy when I first started solar, but as I transitioned company to company, just chasing the best deal, the companies would get smaller and smaller, and it got to a point. I was actually just telling these guys about it out there. It got to a point where I was making good money, right? I made $100,000 in a month, but I wasn't happy at all.
Why weren't you happy?
And I think the reason is because I felt like I was almost isolated. Like, imagine just waking up, looking at your Google Calendar, and you recruited lead setters, you trained them, they're all knocking doors, setting leads, and then it's just your job to wake up every day, 365, to go to those homes, knock on the door, and then try to close them. by all means, it's lucrative, and I did well doing it, but it just was not fun at all. I remember it was actually like really, it was a really dark time. Like I was drinking a lot, wasn't really social. Like I was just waking up, going to close deals, and then drinking and golfing every day. And by all means, it's a fun life for some people, but it wasn't for me.
Okay, so you're drinking, golfing.
Sounds like a good time, right?
So you're drinking every day, golfing. You made $104,000, and you were in a deep, dark place. But then after that, you're like, EcoShield. How did we get you back?
So AJ Sorey, my little brother, is the reason for everything. I think everything with my success with this job, with our boys and their success with this job. My mom, she was moving from here to Tampa, Florida, and we're going to look at homes with her January 1st. We spent New Year's there of 2023, and I'm trying to tell my brother to come do solar with me. Like I'm still doing solar at the time. And he just said something, because he went to school with us, obviously. He knows Dylan Smith. And he goes, if I do door-to-door, I would do it with Dylan Smith and do pest control at EcoShield. And then I'm just like full circle 2 years later. I'm just like, I mean, if you're serious about it and you can bring on a couple friends, I'll say fuck solar and I'll go do that. I have no problem doing that. Mm-hmm. And this was honestly, like, it wasn't my last shot at door-to-door, because I ended up winning a Golden Door that year doing solar. So I did really good. But it was like, okay, if pest control doesn't work, I'm just going to go open up my own thing. And I come into pest control, and AJ was my selling point. Like, the whole reason I was here is because he wanted to recruit some buddies. I recruited a couple of my buddies, and my goal was to hit partner that year, 2023. And coming into it in my head, because that's what Dylan and Dallas sold me on, was partnership.
And what were the numbers and metrics that you needed to do in order to hit partner at EcoShield in 2023?
So that was a selling point. Like, it was a go all in or go home. If I didn't hit partner that year, my rookie year, I was just gonna walk and do something else. I ended up hitting partner. Thankfully, I'm really thankful and grateful for my boys, AJ, Connor, and Will, for making it happen. But yeah, we ended up I ended up selling $715K my rookie year, and then they did the rest. I think our average was $300K between them.
So three reps sold $900,000 worth of pest control, and Johnny put the rest of his team on his back and sold the other $750K that you needed in order to hit partner. Back in 2023, so 2 years ago, it was 1.5 mil. It was 1.5 mil to hit partner, and he did it with 4 guys.
Yeah, and including myself. And it was definitely like it was a journey. Like it was just so fun, because August 31st comes and Dallas sits me down. He's like, "Listen, you need a pad for cancels." And so I'm like, "Okay, I got to go another month. That's fine. I like knocking doors." And next thing I know, AJ has to go back to school, but Connor and Will were free, and we had to switch markets to Indianapolis, sell all of September for me to be able to pad for cancels and hit partnership. And I ended up treating them. I took them on a nice trip. And
where'd you take them?
I took them to Tulum.
Oh, did you guys have fun?
All expenses covered. Yeah. We had a great time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to be a partner right now. I want to be where I'm at without AJ, my brother.
Okay, so just to backtrack, you started it in 2019.
Yep,
May of 2019, right after you graduated. June, yeah. You did DirecTV for 2 years. You did a stint in phone sales out of your buddy's garage. Sketchy. And then
it was like Wolf of Wall Street. It was insane.
And then we sat down. We talked in between your transition from the phone sales to solar. You said no to us because of Carson. Mm-hmm. And then your brother, you were like, "Yo, come knock with me." And your brother basically led you to EcoShield and said, "Yep. Hey, I'm only going to knock with Dallas and Dylan out there." Mainly Dylan, not me. I don't know AJ at that time. And you hit partner with just 4 guys, and you have to sell 1.5 in active revenue in order to do that. And this past summer, you're coming off $1 million. Why did you want to sell $1 million worth of pest control in the first place?
I mean, you hear it all the time, especially in the pest control industry. You always double what you did your rookie year. And it was almost like just a game that I wanted to play with myself. I wanted to see how hard I could actually work. And by starting early, April 1st, finishing late, September 25th, whenever I knocked till it I made it a possibility. And I ended up shooting it over 20% versus what my goal was. Pat Abbott, if you're watching this, and Jay, you guys put me on that stage last year. And my goal's never going to be a set number. It's always just what I can do every day. And by taking it one day at a time, after getting on that stage, being told, telling everyone, my goal's $1 million, I just knew my back was against the wall. There was no other option. So I had it's kind of a cool story. Just like cold turkeyed everything.
No drugs, no alcohol.
Drugs. Was celibate all summer.
Wow.
So
Good to know.
I was dialed, but
locked in,
to say the least. And yeah, made it happen.
So what was your mentality? It was just your back's against the wall, you got to make this happen?
My mentality, it wasn't really like, my back was against the wall, but it was honestly just like, I want to be the fucking best. Like, what do I need to do? And obviously I didn't end up being the best. You got Ryan Iceberts, the certified GOAT, but just being able to chase that competition definitely helped me through it.
Okay. And what are looking forward to looking into the future now? Your team did. So not only did Johnny do $1 million this past summer, he built out and had a team that did what?
We did a little under 6.
So
like 5.5.
So $5.5 million worth of revenue between what? 17 guys?
Yeah.
So you went from 3 guys that did 1.5 million to 17 guys that did 5.5 million. What is your goal going into this summer?
As a team, again, I really don't like thinking of things as like a set number. It's like, hey, let's go work every day as hard as we can and let's see what happens. 15 million is the mark that I definitely want to hit. I'd be really grateful for that. But honestly, I know Gaines isn't going to watch this, but I just want to prove Gaines' $80,000 theory wrong.
And what is Gaines' $80,000
So he says per rep that you sign, that shows up to market, it's worth $80K worth of revenue. And right now, if you look at the past 2 years per guy, and mine and my brother's system, it's, we average about 130 per sign. That's not our PRA, that's just signed per head. Because a lot of guys end up, obviously this job, 50% of people can't do it. They literally just pussy out.
Yeah, 100%. And then I guess just final questions. So Johnny's obviously one of the best leaders I think that I've personally ever had the pleasure of working with. Not only is he very talented as a salesman, but he's kind of cultivated a culture of dog eat dog. Everybody rides for everybody. It's a brotherhood. How did you know to become that type of leader? You talk to your boys a certain way. They respect you differently than, any other team that I've had the pleasure of working with. And how did you cultivate that respect? How did you earn that respect? And
I would honestly say by having good leaders around me and following them, like you, Dallas. I'm so serious.
No,
He's gonna think I'm joking right now because I'm always fucking with him, but I really do thank Dallas and Jay and Dylan for setting the tone. I think, I wouldn't be able to have done what I've done with my team if it wasn't for them. So just, taking advice, keeping an open mind, just literally just always learning. Like, I'm gonna fail a million more times in my life, and I've always just learned from them, no matter what mistake it was. But yeah, also just leading from the front, obviously. I think these guys, they want to chase, obviously, my numbers, and if I can keep doing it for the next few years, then I think good things will happen.
100%. What is your favorite thing about selling pest control door to door?
My favorite thing about selling pest control door to door. Usually you repeat things that people say when you're trying to think of something to say.
That's a sales tip for you guys.
Someone threw me for a loop. Honest to God, I just love fucking getting chewed on. I love getting shit on every day. I love turning no's into yeses, no matter what type of sales it is. I love doing a job that 99.99% of people won't do, and that 0.01% being the best of them. So I think just grinding in the competition and just that want to be the best.
Okay, sweet. That's all I got. That was insane. Hey, thank you, John, for sitting down.
Thank you, Dallas.
Appreciate your time. Yeah, thank you for letting me interview you. I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to working with you in the future and keep doing what you're doing. You're one of the best and brightest minds in all of EcoShield,
I appreciate it.
I'm excited to watch you and your team do big things.
Alrighty.